How's it going, everybody? My name's Evan Hensley, and welcome to the Sideliners. And I am here with a guest co-host today, because Mike Kermey couldn't make it today. DPA himself, Mr. ETV himself, David Pierce Anderson. How's it going, my buddy?
Doing great, Evan. Thanks for having me.
You ready? You ready to talk some sports?
Let's make it happen. See what I know.
Alrighty, so the streak is over. It's finally over.
That's right. 6
straight losses, and it's done. We did it. We won a game. You were there. What are your thoughts on it?
It was great to see. I was working with CBS actually for that game. I was doing the mics on the sideline. But it was something that I hadn't seen in a long time. It was honestly high school. I had seen a team I rooted for that dominant. And it was great because, everything was clicking that night. Roback looked solid. Sergio Bailey had a couple of those big plays. And the run game was solid with 3 contributors there. But it was overall a really solid game. Really fun to be a part of.
Oh, it was a smaller atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Definitely, you could definitely tell it looked a lot different than, let's say, the homecoming game.
For sure.
But you saw a running game that finally establishes itself with 3 different runners. Ian Erickson, Shaq Van had by far, it's not even close, the best game of this season.
Yeah.
And it was the game, me as somebody who went going into the season, this is what I expected the week to week to look like.
Yeah.
You expected the offense to look great and the defense to be all right after losing the starters. But you'll take a look at the stats right here. Obviously, the 3 runners we were talking about, Ian Erickson, Shaq Van, Blake Bannon. We'll talk a little about. Do you want to talk a little bit about Brogan Roback?
Well, yeah, I think that was a big thing is that how many interceptions he's been throwing and how he can't hold on to the football. And you look at that, he got 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's now 1 touchdown away from Charlie Batch, the record that we've been keeping an eye on all year. But it was a big game for him. He looked like how he should look, and I think what everyone expects him to do, what he's capable of doing also. He was making some big-time throws, and he was hitting his man and not making it difficult on the defense for sure.
And he did a heck of a job getting to Sergio Bailey. Only 2 catches on the game, but averaging 55 yards a catch. So for 110 yards and the lone 74-yard TD that you see every game.
Yeah, just the one you throw in. Yeah, that was a fun one because he came across the middle, and it was just like open territory. It was like, wow, that is something I definitely haven't seen EMU do in a long time. It was just a big breakout play, and it's almost a backbreaker because it was pretty early on in the game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a Ball State team that's obviously struggled in different ways than Eastern has. Ball State has been losing games and been surrendering 50-point games all season.
Right.
While Eastern has been keeping every game except for one, that first game of the season, within 1 score. So it was a different look for us.
Right. It was before the game that I was saying, I'm thinking 35 for Eastern. And a few people were looking at me like, really? You're thinking 35? And I was like, it's not complimenting the Eagles. It is a knock against the Cardinals because they've just been they've been on the wrong end of a few of these blowouts all year long.
Oh, definitely. And I was along with you. I thought, they'll break 30. They haven't broken 30 this season. And that's bananas after how great this team was last year and this offense was last year.
Right. Well, I mean, they just stepped up on both sides of the ball. Ball State couldn't get anything going all game long. It was a lot of just dead plays and a lot of dead space. And in general, they got all their points in the first half. But defense showed up, offense showed up, and that's what we expected from the whole year. So it's good to see this, and hopefully it can kind of finish strong, win out the rest of the way. And
we actually got to see some of that talent, that secondary talent, the guys who are going to be stepping up next year due to the graduation of some seniors. Isaac Stieblen got in the game. Obviously, he didn't do much. He just ran the ball.
Right.
He ran the ball a bunch while he was out there. And we actually got to see a guy who I've been looking forward to seeing all season, Jeff Hubbard. He was the highest-rated recruit in this year's recruiting class going into the season. He actually had a pick 6 off of quarterback Drew Pitt there, and I believe it was the 4th quarter when that happened.
Yeah.
And it kind of put an exclamation point on that win.
Well, you talk about backup QB. We haven't seen him all year. We've been in so many close games that it's come down to the last drive, last couple plays. So it was crucial to just get him out on the field and see what he's got. And he, didn't do much, but at least to get out there, that was big for him.
Oh, it was great. It was a really good time. But let's look at this upcoming week. Central Michigan, obviously a big game, in-state rivalry, let alone in-MAC rivalry.
Yeah. Well, EMU's got to win out basically if they want any shot at the end of this. But it's Central coming off a big win against Western. They had that late comeback, and they're fired up. They've got a little bit of revenge coming against EMU after last year. It's going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch this one.
All right, and obviously them having Shane Morris,
yeah.
the transfer from the University of Michigan, a guy who was known for that concussion issue with Brady Hope.
Yep.
You got to see you got to see a lot of what he has in store. But we'll be back, and we'll be talking to you about some of the huge upsets that happened this weekend in college football.
Welcome to one of the fastest growing universities for freshmen in Michigan. A university where differences are celebrated, where faculty believe their students' success is their success, where our honors college has doubled in size, and where we are nationally recognized for educating and improving our community. Being here is about being part of something bigger. It's about being part of a family. It's about fitting in while standing out. Now's the time to challenge yourself and be surrounded by people who truly care about your success. So whether you become an artist who inspires others, a creator who develops something new, or an innovator who changes the way people think, this is your opportunity. Fuel your curiosity through research. Hit the stage and enrich the lives of others. Compete in Division I athletics. No matter your path, we all bleed green. So roll up your sleeves. Dive in. Experience learning in and out of the classroom. Be a student of life. Welcome to higher education. Welcome to Eastern Michigan University. Welcome home.
All right, welcome back to Sideliners. David Pierce Anderson along with Evan Hensley. We're going to move over to, we got a little audio malfunction, but we're going to move over to some more college football going on with some of the upsets that we saw last week.
We did see a bunch this past weekend, you know. Unfortunately, my Buckeyes were on the wrong end of a really bad game.
Yeah. You know, I am a fan of that game completely as you look at that score. How about we just hold that? Let's look at that score for a little bit. 55-20.
Let's focus on the right side. I don't want to focus on the left side too much.
Well, what happened? I mean, how does Ohio State lose that pitifully, if that's not a word, it is now, to any team, but especially Iowa, who's not? They shouldn't be doing that to Ohio State.
This is Iowa. Iowa shocks everybody over and over again. They only, especially on the road, I knew this game was a trap game from day one. J.T. Barrett, obviously, with 4 interceptions. And the week after, last week I said he was a top 4 Heisman candidate, and I'm going to go ahead and throw that out the window now. As soon as J.T. Barrett gets you, he gets you feeling his direction. You like, oh, he's going to be so great. He just has a dumpster fire game like this. 3 of them by Joshua Jackson, who had one of the best plays of this week with that one-handed interception.
Well, you know, I mean, this is the kind of game that will ruin, like you said, a possible Heisman pick. That's out the question. You throw 4 picks in one game. That's unheard of. I mean, what did you see, though? Was it more on Ohio State or more on Iowa for this game? You
saw an Ohio State team combust on the field. They looked young. They looked immature. This was one of the best defenses I've seen in college football going into this game. After how they demolished Penn State last week, I thought, oh, okay, they're just going to keep rolling. They're in their groove right now. They allowed Iowa to score 55 points, let alone this is the only pro-style offense Ohio State has seen this season. It's been all spread except for when they played Army. But Nathan Stanley had the best game of his career.
Oh, yeah.
A brand new starting quarterback for Iowa. So that was huge. And then they obviously had a great running game going into the game. And Ohio State, in my opinion, just didn't run the ball enough.
Do you think they rebound after this, or is it going to linger?
I think they're at home. They're hosting the team we're about to talk about next, Michigan State. But we'll see. I don't know. This Ohio State this year has just been unpredictable. They were on fire for like 5 straight weeks going into this game, going into the Penn State game. Then, obviously, the great comeback, and people were like, "Oh, wait for the comeback! Wait for the comeback in the second half." They didn't look like the same team they did last week.
No, I wasn't able to catch the game. I was working, but we were keep getting updates, and it's like another one for Iowa, another one for Iowa. But it got out of hand very quickly, and then too little, too late for OSU.
Oh, definitely. And on to another Big Ten, huge Big Ten game. Michigan State hosted Penn State in a game that I honestly thought Michigan State had a legitimate shot in.
Yeah.
And boy, did they impress.
Oh man, that was something else. We were following that game also, and it came down to the last second, obviously, and quite thrilling end to that game. Big kick, obviously, to win it. But talk a little bit about that's a bold prediction, but MSU is having a great year. Didn't really see this coming from them, but I still think that's a bold prediction to have them beating Penn State.
It was up in the air. That I knew Penn State would be mad. I knew they would be PO'd after last week, and Michigan State. Brian Lewerke looks like arguably the best quarterback in the conference. The way he played, 400 yards. Nobody saw that coming, and it was a lot of it. I was listening to a little bit of analysis on the radio the other day, and people were like, a Michigan State grad had said he never saw such a aggressive a way of going against an opponent the way Michigan State played. They're a very, very conservative team because of Mark D'Antonio. And you got to see a completely different style of offense.
Well, that comes with
Michigan State.
Obviously you're putting on the green and white. There's a standard that you're going to have, and that's for sure. You saw that. But we were looking at some of those other quarterbacks, and throughout today's show already, just get 250 yards, 280, and we're talking that's a pretty good game. 400. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, no one saw that coming at all, like you mentioned. From the get-go, were you picking up on, this is something special tonight?
They came off a big loss against Northwestern. So everybody was like, oh, Michigan State's really not that good. They lucked out and beat Michigan. Oh, and they lost to Northwestern. And then they come into this game and beat Michigan State. But on to staying in the top 25, I think the Big Ten's out of the playoff.
Yeah.
I truly do. The only 2 teams that have a legitimate shot are Ohio State and Michigan State at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Looking at it, it's a pretty strong, and a lot of the regulars you see in the top 5, but it's very strong, and just Big Ten hasn't really been showing up.
Oh, neither of the teams control their own destiny. It's crazy because obviously Ohio State had a lot of hype going into the season with JT Barrett coming into his last year, but we're seeing so many good teams in the Big Ten beat the crap out of each other.
Right.
And that's what's going to end up hurting the conference more than helping it.
Well, I think that's always, it's fun for us to look at as a fan watching. If you're a Big Ten fan, though, obviously you want some representation towards the end of the year. But these have been great games all year long, really.
Oh, definitely. We've seen so many great games just out of these Big Ten teams. The Michigan State game was a great time. But like I said, I don't think a Big Ten team's going to the playoff. No. But we're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how it happened in this week's NFL action. Stay with us.
Hi, my name is Shanna Gilkison, and ETV has been a very important part of my life, especially for the last 4 years.
I got my start at ETV in my 3rd semester at Eastern from fellow students, and it's been a great experience.
Working with all these new people that I didn't know before, it's very awesome just seeing how willing people are to get together and create something from scratch.
I'm Shanna Gilkison for Eastern Weekly, and this is E-Walking.
I will also be hosting and producing a sort of like a late night style talk show.
Everyone that's here wants to be here. They care to be here. They want to work. They want to learn. And with that kind of environment, everybody benefits.
I tell you, I've been doing really well, very successful here at Eastern, but it wasn't until I really became part of the ETV club that I really felt like I was getting more of what I needed as a student.
We decided that we wanted to do things above and beyond our coursework. So I was part of founding the ETV Student Org.
It just so happened that Shanna was in one of my classes, and she told me to come, and I showed up, and it was very warm welcome. Like, everybody was very nice to me right away, and they actually had an idea to make a sitcom, or actually they called it a soap opera at that time, and they said they had they weren't sure exactly what they wanted, but they wanted one thing. They knew that they wanted this guy, his name is Ramon, to be their main character. I mean, that was kind of how the show Week at a Glance kind of took off.
Beyond Eastern's walls, when I'm done here, I'll probably be working with some people from ETV, again, professionally. And I think a lot of students don't take advantage of what they should with organizations on campus, and ETV is one of the best.
Back to the Sideliners. I'm David Pierce Anderson, filling in for Mike Kermy this week alongside Evan Hensley. As usual, we've been talking about some college football, but we're going to move over to the pro side of things now. And starting off with the Eagles and the Broncos. And we've been talking about blowouts and 50-point games. Here's another one. The Eagles put 51 up on the Broncos.
Well, this was a interesting game going into the season. I thought the Broncos had a legitimate shot at upsetting the Eagles, but this defense looked really old. But you just look at the stats. Brock Osweiler got his first start of the year for Denver. Trevor Siemian was benched, and then Carson Wentz, a guy who I believe is the MVP so far in the season, 3 for 4 touchdowns, didn't really need to do much. And Jay Ajayi, his first game as the Philadelphia Eagle with 77 yards on the ground and a TD.
Well, I think we've been talking about your bold predictions, but to say that the 3-5 Broncos at this point now going to beat the best record in the NFL, that is bold, definitely. It's 4 rushers, I guess, is the big thing for the Eagles, what they had going for them. Really contributions from 4 different guys, like you said, 77 yards there. Nobody breaking 100, but it just seemed like a team effort on Philadelphia's side.
Oh, that's how the Philadelphia running game is. It's going to be a lot of different guys contributing. Because I mentioned Jay Ajayi. You also have Corey Clement, a rookie out of Wisconsin, who I really like. LeGarrette Blount, a former New England Patriot who was the starter going into the season. Wendell Smallwood, I think he's a second-year player out of West Virginia. And it was a really team effort. This is a really good Philadelphia defense as well. But the big storyline for this is, what happened to this Denver Bronco defense? For the past 2 years, this has been dubbed the best defense in football, period. They looked really old in this game. They put so much money into that defense. The offense is clearly struggling. I don't know, every game this year the offense has been struggling. They have not won a game outside of Mile High. And do
you think their problem is that they're old, or is it just guys underperforming?
I think it's old. This secondary, the past 4 years, I believe was the best secondary in football. They have a lot of talent throughout, but they're just all getting up there in age. A lot of them are passing the 30-year age, and that's where a lot of players tend to fall off and get out of their prime. And I think that's what we're starting to see with Denver. Yeah,
they had no answer. Gave up 17 in the first, 14 in the second, and then continued on from there. It was really nothing. They had no answer throughout the whole game. 51-23 final score on that one. But I think we're going to move on now. The Cowboys and the Chiefs. It was another game that, it was a good game overall. But tell us what your first impressions of that one.
It was good. It's dubbed to be the game of the week. You have the Chiefs team that had the hottest start in football, and then there was the debate: is Zeke Elliott going to play? Is he not going to play? And obviously, the Cowboys won 28-17, And a lot of that was Dak Prescott. He looked really good for another week of him looking really good. And, I was very skeptical after last year. I thought he was good. I didn't think he had the potential to be great, but he keeps going. Guys, teams have tape on him now. And my issue with the Chiefs right now, they barely ran the ball. They handed the ball off to Kareem Hunt 9 times. The NFL's leading rusher was handed the ball 9 times. That's horrible.
Yeah, only averaging a 4.1. Maybe he wasn't feeling it that day or something, but I think you just got to give him the chance.
You just got to give him the rock, because he's one of the best young running backs in the football, and it's not just because it's his rookie year still, but he's not going to hit that rookie wall. I truly don't think I think he's too talented for that to happen.
You look on the flip side, and Zeke had 27 carries, and that whole situation. It's been a hodgepodge this year for Ezekiel Elliott in the NFL, but he didn't have the greatest of games, but like you said, Dak Prescott, solid game, 249 yards and a couple touchdowns, and they just keep chipping away at that game. They had a touchdown in each quarter, and that's really what did it for them.
And I think this Chiefs defense was also something we expected to be really good going into this year, and I just don't think they've been as good as everybody thought they'd be, because Marcus Peters didn't look very good. Obviously, losing Eric Berry to an Achilles injury in the first game of the season, your best defensive player, is not an easy thing to get over. But this is a team that still struggled. Dallas mopped them up down the field. They really struggled. They really struggled to stop that Cowboy offense.
Well, yeah, when you lose one of your big guys so early, that takes a hit on you. But they've been able to, kind of stay with the pack. 6-3, the record right now, and Dallas 5-3. I don't know. Neither one of those teams really jump out at me right now. And looking forward, I don't know. I think I feel more confident with the Chiefs as opposed to the Cowboys. But it's really something that you gotta move past this game for sure.
I want to know if this Ezekiel Elliott saga is weighing on the Cowboys, because I think it probably is in some way. Because every week it's been like he didn't practice 2 days this week because they weren't expecting him to play, but he still played.
Right.
But we're going to take a quick break here on the Sideliners, and when we get back, we'll be talking a little bit about EMU basketball and how it's getting rolling this week. Also a little bit about our predictions for the NBA season and the NCAA season. We'll be back in a minute. Thank you.
Are you an EMU student interested in getting a first-hand experience working at a radio station? Well, say no more. EMU offers a class through Eagle Radio that will thoroughly prepare you for a real-life experience. But first, you have to register for the class. Pick a date and a time slot. Then the world is yours. Eagle Radio allows you to be fully independent and customize your own show. Have real conversations about the news, celebrity gossip, update listeners about the weather, play a trivia game. It's your show. You're free to name your show whatever you want and play any edited music of your choice. If you love having heated debates and you feel your words need to be heard, then Eagle Radio is just for you.
Back to the Sideliners. I'm Evan Hensley alongside David Pierce Anderson. And we're going to talk a little bit about EMU basketball because the season is getting rolling this week. It's going to be a good time of the year. This is a team that's predicted to do pretty well this season. So do you want to get us started?
Well, yeah, I love basketball, and I'm excited, always enjoy the EMU games, working for ESPN3 for my 3rd year, so it's, I get to see them up close and personal. It's going to be a different-looking team, though, and only 3 returners, as we were talking about beforehand. These are going to be the 2 biggest ones right now, Tim Bond and James Thompson. That's going to be big for the team in a good way, I think. I think this EMU team has been constantly picked to do well in the season, but a lot of these conflicting personalities and just kind of one-on-one type of players graduated or they have transferred now at this point. And I hope that some fresh blood in the system can really do wonders for the team.
I mean, people may remember that last year I called for Rob Murphy's job.
You were not holding back at all.
I was not holding back on Rob Murphy. I thought this is a team year after year was predicted to do really good, well in the MAC, compete for a championship, and would always find a way to not do very well. Right. And this is, like you said, a completely different team. What I've heard is Tim Bond is coming off the bench as the sixth man. That means we'll have 4 new starters in the offense. Right. Not the offense, just the starters.
Right. I mean, that's amazing in itself, and Bond is one of, if not my favorite player on the team. And that's a crucial element, though, to have someone so substantial come off the bench like that. That'll be big for the team. Excited to see what that means and how he takes it, because I just like that personality in general on the floor. It sends good vibes.
Oh, Tim Bond's such an enjoyable player to watch. But like some of these guys coming in, 2 guys, I like this backcourt a lot. This is the first time in my time at Eastern Michigan we have a true point guard. Paul Jackson is a transfer from Western Kentucky, had to do redshirt last year and sit the year out because of transfer rules. And just watching through his highlight tape and I've watched him practice a little bit. He's a true point guard, but he knows how to shoot. He knows how to drive the ball in the lane. And alongside Terry Harris, a lot of people may not know this, Terry Harris, his brother is Tobias Harris of the Detroit Pistons.
Heard of that,
yeah. He's also brand new to the team, had to sit out last year due to transfer rules. Yeah. And we get a brand new backcourt alongside James Thompson. It should be a really good year, especially with that pick and roll with James Thompson.
I'm looking forward to it. And Tobias Harris actually was at the Crash the Convo event a couple weeks ago. So
oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We got him on the screen a couple times. But yeah, like you said, I'm very intrigued to see how the season goes. Hopefully it's not just James Thompson picking up bricks, and we're kind of hopefully dishing it down to him, and he can make some plays happen. I'm excited for the year.
Oh, it's going to be it should be a great season. Like I said, Rob Murphy.
This is the year,
You're
Rob.
still on the hot seat. You're not going to be on the hot seat until you do something good.
There we go. You heard it from Evan.
But no Ray Lee, no Willie Mangum, no Ty Toney. And just looking into this week, first 2 games, both pretty winnable games. If they were to lose one of these games, it's a little bit of a concern. They start off the season against Spring Arbor, and then they host Michigan Dearborn. Both games going on at home. So their home opener is on Friday at 10:30 in the morning.
Get your coffee.
Yeah.
Spring Arbor, beautiful campus, almost went there. But those are 50-point games. Those are games that you should just wipe the floor with, and hopefully we'll see some of those 15, 12th man kind of deep in the bench kind of games.
Oh, but sticking to basketball, let's talk a little about the NBA season. The season's rolling. A lot of concerns with the Cavs. The Warriors are looking solid, not great, but it's early. Guys aren't trying super hard. It is November.
Right. Well, yeah, wait till next April when they start trying. Yeah, it's going to be a while. I don't know. It's the NBA. Like you said right there, it's just from the get-go, who's going to be in the finals, basically. Who's going to be the last couple teams. Right now, it's just exciting, and I'm as a Piston fan, it's exciting to see them play well, and I hope they can continue this, and I think they can, and hopefully, get in the playoffs even better than an 8 seed.
Oh, we'll see. I would really enjoy to see them maybe go to a playoff, maybe host a playoff game. That'd be fun. But looks like we're not gonna have enough time for our predictions today. But we'll get that next week. Thank you for listening to Sideliners. Make sure you check us out on our other ETV shows. His show is still on the air, and you may see me on E! Weekly on the occasional Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Evan Hensley.
I'm David Pierce Anderson.
And thanks for watching.